is right. Hello, hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, maybe that was turned off too. Who's being ordered? Oops. Why are you? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? And I tried it, so it isn't my computer. All right. Let me see. Oh, can you hear me now? Yes, that would have been helpful. Now, it's funny. This week I wrote a post about standard operating procedures, and I realized just in this second that I need to create a standard operating procedure. And also, I am wearing the wrong glasses. No wonder I cannot see properly. Oh, it's a miracle. Well, I'll just have to cut the whole front off that video, but we got 10 minutes in. So now I have to go back to the beginning. So welcome to Ask Jackie Gordon, the public speaker answering. I can speak English. Ask Jackie Gordon, the public speaking answer lady. And I apologize for all of you who couldn't hear me. I don't know what made me think that I could do this without having sound. I would mime. If I was a really good mime, I could probably get away with that. But I can't because I'm not. So if you are here and you want to talk to me today, you have to chat. Chat is the only way that you can communicate. And if you have any questions about public speaking, how to engage your audience, I'm also here. If you want to get feedback on a presentation, you'd have to set that up ahead of time. I'm also offering for people who want to come on the live stream on Tuesday nights between 6 and 7 o'clock. They can come on and I will coach them live in front of my audience. So there's a lot of opportunity for anybody who needs help with their public speaking skills or getting their message clear. But today we're going to talk about content creators who make me laugh and why. And I decided I would start this out by talking about the circle of value, which I believe you can see on my screen. So the circle of value is not just for public speakers. This is the basis for anybody who wants to get paid in any sort of business. You have to be able to follow the circle of value in order to capture. Let me get my little, can you guys see when I put my little finger on that, I guess I probably have some sort of pointer, but I don't know where it is. So when I circle this capture value, in order to capture value, you have to create value. And a lot of people come at the whole value proposition by like, oh, I'm going to make a thing. I'm going to make a thing and everybody's going to want it. But their business fails because they're not following this circle. They're trying to go from creating value to capturing value without anything in between. And there are 2 steps in between, which is the next step is you make something, like you're going to make a widget. Let's say we're a widget company, the Acme Widget Company, and we're going to make widgets, and we could sit in our little factory making widgets. The widgets are going to have some sort of value for an audience. We're going to find a financially viable niche that wants our widget. But if we only sit in our factory and make the widgets and nobody knows, we're just going to wind up with a lot of widgets and we're never going to get our value for our widget. So that is why on the circle of value, which looks a little like a train track, it looks like a road, you want to, the next step behind making your widget, if you've got to tell people, hey, I made this thing. I made this widget and it's going to solve this problem for you and you're going to just love it and you should buy it. That is called marketing. Now, some people think of marketing as a dirty word because it can feel like sort of icky to make your widget and then you come in the world and you're like, I made this thing and I hope everybody likes it. You know, it's sort of blowing your own horn can be uncomfortable for people, but you're going to have to convey the value of what you've made in order to collect the money, the value for it. So you created your thing, you're going out in the world and you could be marketing your thing. How could you market your widget? You could put it in a store. You could sell it online. You could stand on a street corner and sell it. You could be down in the subway selling churros. Churros are widgets. Widgets are churros. The subway, we have people, for people out of town, we have people in the subway who are trying to capture their value by selling churros, which are those Mexican donuts. So you can market it on social media. You could buy Facebook ads. You could do Instagram reels, you could TikTok, and you are trying to convey this widget I made does this wonderful thing for you. You want to let people know that that's what you created, and you want to put it out in the world so they can buy it from you. So that's the whole idea behind creating the value, then conveying the value. Next up, you got to deliver the value. So anywhere along this circle of value, if you don't deliver the value that your widget, like so say you made this widget and it's supposed to do this thing that solves a problem, but the person gets the widget and they're like, this doesn't work, then you have neglected to deliver your value, and the person who paid you for that value, the capture, is going to want that capture money back. So you want to make sure whatever you're putting into the world, whether it is a physical product or it could be coaching or anything that you can sell, your book, your, Acme anything, delivers the value that you intended it to do. So that way you get to capture the value for what you created and you get to keep it. So creating value, conveying value, delivering value, and capturing value. If the train, imagine that this is my little hand, if you can see that, is a train that keeps going around. If at any point the train falls off the track because it doesn't deliver the value or you don't convey your value, or another way that people fail on this is they don't ask for the money. I know it sounds crazy, but I've had people do interactions with me where they don't actually feel comfortable invoicing their clients or their customers, so they don't capture the value there. So anywhere that value train is broken, this road breaks, your business is not going to be a success. So follow the circle of value and you will be a success. Today, I'm trying to look for where I was. Oh, there, I think that's where I set this up ahead of time, and if it doesn't work, it's because I'm just learning. So today I was going to talk about content creators who make me laugh and how they create value in the world. And I'm going to go over here. Am I going to go with him first? I don't know if I'm going to go with him first, but I have to go into the screen. Oh, I see. I've stopped sharing. And then I hit sharing, right? And I'm going to pick one of these. These are people that I just like, that I found on Facebook Reels. I'm actually pulling them up on other platforms because they make me laugh. Now, I may have a tiny bit of problem with the sound, but we're going to make sure that you can hear it. So this first one I'm picking up is this one. And ideally, we will be able to.
Because these oversized, pre-dirty shoes cost $1,300. I don't know if smoking this affects memory, but I'm going.
Let's see if I can get it to start from the beginning.
To find out.
Hello. Go this way.
And welcome to. Hello.
There we go.
Has your health been negatively affected by Balenciaga? If you followed me for any length of time, the answer is probably yes. These shoes cost $1,300. Images like this have been known to cause unrest, insomnia, and a general state of hopelessness. But now, there is hope. Introducing Refashioned Hippie Eye Bleach. Bleach for your eyes, because being unable to see might be a blessing. Because these oversized, pre-dirty shoes cost $1,300. I don't know if smoking this affects memory, but I'm going to find out. Also, dum-dums.
Yes, don't smoke. So I can't remember if I can pull her up and have her sharing her screen without any sound. I guess I could. Let's have her back without any sound. She's Refashioned Hippie. And I will stop her video over here. I think I'm going to stop it. Pause. So I've been following her not following her, but she just pops up on my Facebook reel. And I have a Facebook reel addiction problem. I love that little dopamine hit from just making me laugh. But what I really like about her is that she takes down, silly rich people clothes most of the time. She does a few things, but the thing that I watch her for is taking down of silly rich people clothes and shoes, obviously, from this particular video. Those ugly looking Balenciaga shoes for $1,300. But what I like about her is she's very smooth in her delivery. She uses a lot of humor. She puts herself in the video. I don't know about the holding the microphone, but that must be something that she's got to do. I probably would love to be able to see her with her hands free, so maybe she could do a little more gesturing. But she's cool. She knows what she's doing, and I believe she monetizes this by having merchandise. So she actually has. You can go on her Facebook, on her TikTok, and this is not TikTok. This is the what's this other thing called? I remember. It's called Instagram. And she sells, a t-shirt. She sells some stickers. I don't know if she's making big money off of this or not, but she is following the circle of value and she's creating value. So she has, 207,000 yes, I can speak English, followers, not huge numbers, but she's got people who follow her here, and she could do sponsorships if she wanted to, ads, and maybe she does. I have not done a deep dive on her, but I think that she creates a lot of content that's kind of funny. This looks hilarious.
Another episode of Where Are We Going in This? Today, we'll be discussing this teddy bear dress.
I'd like a teddy bear dress.
Now, in fairness to this piece,
I wouldn't mind a teddy bear dress because but I probably want it to be like stuffed chicken legs, because fried chicken legs, not just chicken legs. Although that would be funny to have a dress made out of rubber chickens, but that would be kind of heavy. Anyway, she knows who her audience is, and she's speaking to them, and she's creating value for them by making them laugh at silly rich people things, and she makes me laugh. So she is one of the content creators that I find amusing. Now, the interesting thing about the world of content creating is that there's something for everybody. People who can get on the internet, anybody can do this. Anybody can, quote unquote, speak on the internet, and you can attract enough of an audience, you can certainly monetize it. Another one that I love doesn't even really speak, although I guess he's sort of been speaking a little bit more. What did I do with him? I lost him. Where'd he go? I had him all queued up. Oh my God, he's not even here. He's my favorite. He's one of my, oh, there he is. There he is. I thought, what? I first saw these videos of Eddie Silva, who is from Brazil. Ooh, where'd he go? Is he still there? I need to make it play. And all he does is look. That's it, folks. That's his superpower. Well, he does a lot more things now, but he's got a huge following. I think he's got how many? 6.6 million followers. But what he does is throw shade like nobody I've ever seen with those eyelashes, and he wears these fantastic outfits, and he messes with his hair, and I don't know. He just cracks me up. He does collabs with people, and I guess he's probably monetizing. His whole thing is in Portuguese, so I'm not actually sure what he does, but all I know is that I saw him in a Facebook reel. I watched him bat his eyes, and I was like, oh my God, he's so funny. And obviously, almost 6.6 million other people think so too. And I don't even follow him. So there's probably a whole bunch of people who are just like me, who are like, what do we call people who like people online, but don't actually say anything? Like, we don't actually follow them. We're just sort of like lurking, because on Facebook, they just pop up. And I'm like, oh my God, he makes me laugh. So he's a master of throwing shade. And he doesn't have to say anything, because he makes these facial expressions, which are really important for public speaking. I always tell people when you're trying to use humor in your presentation and you want to learn how to throw shade, you've got to go watch Eddie Silva, because he's the master of shade. So if you want to like make your audience laugh, model him. So that's another one of my favorites. One of the people who makes me laugh. And why And it's just a signature move. I mean, he does most of the videos. As I was looking through today, I saw a lot more different kinds of videos, but when I was originally watching him probably last year, it was just the same thing over and over in different circumstances, just how he looked. He looks a certain way, and he's able to, I'm sure, bank it. I see that he's doing sponsorships and ads and things like that, probably showing up in places. They become celebrities. So that's another example. Content creators are public speakers. Even if you're not saying anything, you could be considered to be a public speaker. So that's what I liked about him. And so he's creating his value by making people laugh. A lot of the value that content creators create is laughter, because we want to escape from our lives and we want something that's going to make us giggle. And what's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. But that's actually solving the problem of boredom. And a lot of people do that. Comedians do that. Entertainers do that. Content creators do that. And it is very lucrative if you do it very well. Next up on Jackie Loves a Content Creator, we have, hey, Nancy Stern, how are you? We're talking about content creators that I like, that make me laugh, in terms of the fact that content creators are public speakers. They're on the internet, on their social media channels, talking, not talking, being silly, being serious, and they're taking that to the bank. So that is just one way that you can capture value as a speaker. And actually, you're going to see a lot more content from me showing up as reels in the weeks to come, because these live streams are going to be cut into reels, and I've created other reels. So I want to drive traffic to this show, and I want to drive traffic to my platform, and eventually I'll be selling my courses. So I'll be doing that sort of content creating myself. But this next person is not funny. He is not funny. I do follow him because I think he's a great storyteller, and his name is Ray William Johnson, and you will see he does like true crime, which it's interesting because most of the crimes he's talking about are like influencer crimes or actual crimes, but he does have a way of sort of presenting it. I don't know whether he has amazing images that he uses. He's got I don't forget how many followers he has, but he has, I think it's like 6 million or something. 1.2 million. I was wrong. Oh no, did I lose this guy?
So one night, this guy comes home and his entire house has been...
Start again. Let's start from the beginning. Yep.
So this man, his name's Antoine.
You gotta go this way.
So one night, this guy comes home and his entire house has been trashed. Like someone broke in. And then all of a sudden, bam, an intruder grabs him from behind. And then another intruder pulls out a knife and they force him to his knees. And that is when one of them pulls out a pew-pew and he points it at the man's head and he pulls the trigger. So the guy who pulled the trigger, his name's Billy, and he's only 15, about to be 16, and one day he's at school. And his school makes all the students do these dumb drug awareness rallies, so he's got to go there with his whole class, and it's so lame. But then, while he's there, he notices the media director, this woman, Pamela. And Pamela is 22, and Billy thinks she is fine! So they meet and they get to talking and they hit it off, and they're both really into 80s hair metal, so that's cool. And Billy and Pamela become friends and he starts crushing on her hard. But as much as Billy's in love with her, she's actually married to this guy, Greg. And Pamela and Greg have only been married about a year, and unfortunately, it's not going too well. Because one day, Pamela finds out that Greg has been cheating on her. And she is devastated. She doesn't know what to do. And she doesn't want to get a divorce. She's worried she'll lose her condo and her dog. I mean, she's worried she'll lose everything. But shortly after she discovers that affair, that's when Pamela meets Billy. And they become friends and they start hanging out. And eventually, Pamela, maybe to get back at Greg, she starts smashing with Billy. And then weeks later, this affair is still going on. And as they continue smashing, Pamela starts to get worried that Greg is going to find out. And that then he'll divorce her and she'll lose everything. So then Pamela comes up with a plan to get rid of Greg for good. And with this plan, she goes to Billy, and she starts telling him that Greg has been abusive, and that she can't divorce him because then he'll get mad and retaliate. And most importantly, she says that she just wishes there was someone who could unalive him. And of course, Billy, who's very much in love, he hears this and he agrees to be that someone. Now, Billy, he isn't really a killer, and he has a lot of trouble bringing himself to do this. So he asks his friend Patrick to come along and help him. And then Patrick agrees, and Pamela lays down a plan. And she sets an actual date for the unaliving to happen, May 1st. So then, boom, May 1st comes along. And as planned, Billy and Patrick, they break into Greg and Pamela's condo. And then they trash the whole place to make it look like a robbery. And then they both wait there in the dark for Greg to come home. And then sometime later, he does. Greg finally arrives. He parks his car, he walks in the front door, and then all of a sudden, bam, Billy grabs him from behind. And Patrick, he pulls out a knife, and they quickly get Greg to his knees. And that is when Billy points the pew-pew at Greg's head, and he pulls the trigger. And later that night, Pamela gets home, and she finds Greg there on the floor, unalived. And she pretends to be surprised, and she calls police, and the police, they start investigating. And so then weeks go by, and police so far haven't made any arrests. Now, Billy and Patrick and their friends, they aren't very good at keeping secrets. So they start gossiping about it. And word gets around school, and soon enough, one of their classmates hits up police and tells them everything. So police bring in Billy and Patrick, and they question them, and these poor guys, they immediately crack under pressure, and they tell police the whole thing, including that Pamela was actually the mastermind behind the murder. So now police know that Pamela's involved, but they have to prove it. Otherwise, it's just Billy and Patrick's word against hers. Now, that classmate that had hit up police and snitched also mentioned the name of this girl, Cecilia. Cecilia is also 16, she goes to their school, and she's also Pamela's student intern, so she works with her. She also just happens to be Pamela's friend, because I guess 22-year-old Pamela just likes hanging out with high school students. But anyway, police find this out, and they approach Cecilia, and they scare her. And she breaks down, and she admits that she low-key knew about this murder plot the whole time. And in exchange for immunity, she agrees to wear a wire to get a confession from Pamela. So Cecilia meets up with Pamela, and of course, Pamela incriminates herself on tape, and so boom, they arrest her. Here's her mugshot. And also, while we're at it, here's Billy's mugshot. And of course, here's Patrick's mugshot. So Pamela ends up going to trial, she's found guilty, and she gets sentenced to life. While Billy, he cooperated, and he gets sentenced to 40 years. And he only did 25, and he's out now. Well, Patrick also cooperated, and he also got 40 years. Wow. And he also only did 25, and he's out now. So, shut up.
Anyway, that was he tells these stories. That's exactly how he tells his stories. So his name is Ray William Johnson, and all of his feed is just story after story. Most of them are true crime. Some of them are influencer crime. And that's how he built up his following. That's how he creates value. He really puts a lot of work into the production of these storytelling, and he has intrigue and suspense, and he always at the end he always shouts out to a specific state, and I don't know whether the illustrations they might be a AI, I'm not sure, but he's a great storyteller, and that's what makes people interested. And of course, people like to hear about terrible crimes because we're just messed up as individuals. Humans are very cantankerous, and they like to have a look under the hood of other people's lives, and he does a really good job of putting the little camera underneath the hood of the people's lives. So I guess he is very entertaining in his sort of the influencer. So he often does stories that have something to do with an actual influencer. So it'll be like, this influencer is actually a drug mule. He'll tell some story, and it turns out that she's blowing up. She's going all over the world, but actually she's been carrying drugs. So I call it influencer crimes because he's focusing on people who have blown up on some sort of social media, but it turns out that they're actually criminals, or they blew up on social media and they became criminals. But he also goes back and finds like old crimes. This was obviously a crime that happened a while ago because these young boys were in jail for 25 years. So he's telling old stories, but they're intriguing stories and they're entertaining stories. So that's how he creates his value. And in the end, he captures his value in whatever way he does. I don't know him that well, but I'm sure that he has some way that he turns this into cash. And he has this website, and he sells merchandise related to something else that he does. I'm not even sure, but he also sells music. I think he's actually a musician as well, but he's doing his thing, making his thing for his audience who are interested in this crime. And I find him entertaining whenever I'm watching them. It's kind of like watching one of those, I don't ever watch the television shows that are like true crime, but because he serves it up in these little baby 3-minute stories, I'm like, oh, I can listen to crime for 3 minutes. So I don't give him any money for this, but I do consume his content because it's short and it's interesting and it's often tragic, which is exactly what that one was. So that's Ray William Johnson. Oh, hold on. My nose is itching. I know everyone can see me scratching it, but I'm telling you, it's not a good thing. There's something happening here. So next up on my favorites, let me stop sharing for a second. I'm so glad I got to figure out how to use this. I'm getting better at using this streaming system. So I'm proud of myself because I only just taught myself how to do the screen sharing thing right before this. And I don't know if anybody watched this last week, but I've been having a problem getting I've been creating slideshows and then not being able to get them into the platform. And I still haven't been able to do that. God, there is something tickling my nose. Is there a bug in here? And today I actually managed to get some of the content from last week's slideshow further into the streaming thing. Didn't work, but I got further. So every week I learn something more, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time during this heat wave we're having in New York to figure out more stuff. And eventually I'll start really marketing this once I feel like I know what I'm doing. But right now we're still on the building the plane while it's in the air mode. And I apologize for keep touching my nose, but there is something in the air. So this is one of my favorites. I love this guy. He cracks me up. Let me see if I can get in order to get a clean video of what he's doing.
Stanley Cup. Yes, I've got.
So his name is Shabazz, and he has absolutely blown up since I first started watching him. I think he only had like 0.6 million followers. Now he's got 1.6 million followers, and I find him completely charming and hilariously funny. And his shtick, and is that he takes down influencers who post videos of their wealth, that are ostentatious displays of wealth and things that only rich people have. And he calls himself a pavo. He's like he's British. He's actually a school teacher in Britain. And his people are called pavos, meaning you're poor. I guess it's a British slang for being impoverished. So we're pavos, and he's the king of the pavos, and his videos are very funny. And also sad, because when you look at the things that people who have unlimited generational wealth waste their money on, it's kind of tragic, but entertaining. So we like it. But let me see if I can get to the beginning of this one by going like that, and then going like that.
On today's episode of I'm Rich Chopo, accessorize my Stanley Cup. Yes, I've got accessories like clip-on ring holders for extra rings and clip-on lip gloss holders, and even a clip-on to hang my keys off. I've even got first, second and third very specific shaped eyes to go in 1, 2 and 3, because I'm not going to use QB eyes, am I? I'm not Paul. Next up, a little clip-on so I know that it's my Stanley Cup, and a bag to add to your Stanley Cup, so I can put all manner of tiny mini nonsense that I'm not going to use. Sunscreens and decanted hand wash and wipes that only carry one wipe in them. Because I'm rich, I can afford to accessorize my Stanley Cup. You can't even afford a Stanley Cup, let alone a bag to add insect repellents and credit card holders. Why? Because you're a povo. I can even attach a fan, because who doesn't want a fan attached to a Stanley Cup? Well, you don't, because you're poor. On today's episode of I'm Rich.
He makes me laugh, folks. He cracks me up. So that's today's episode of I'm Rich, You're Poor. And it's just constant videos of that ilk, although he's actually branching out because he's become so popular that he's showing up. I think I saw today that he has a book. He's written a book. So that's
On today's episode of I'm Rich, You're Poor, look at my diamond-encrusted ice cubes. You know what? I'm sick of rich people constantly boasting about all the rich people things and designer ice cubes. Something needs to be done about this. Someone needs to do something. And that someone is me. Povos of the world, it's time to unite, to take over. And like all great leaders, I have myself a manifesto. So join the Povo.
So he's got his book, and he's like heading the podcast for the new Doctor Who movie. So he's just completely blown up, and I'm sure he's turning his value that he created, probably just because he was bored one day, and turned it into a way to make more money, I guess, for himself. But he has to, I guess, keep it in check because he doesn't want to be making diamond encrusted ice cubes himself. So, but he's very funny, and he's great in it. What he's really good at is we watched the Met Gala Awards through his eye, talking about the outfits and stuff. He was very, very funny. So I really encourage you to be another one of his followers, because he'll make you laugh if you find what he says funny. But he's one of the ones that makes me laugh. And I'm looking at him over here. So I know you guys can see him over there, but I'm like, where's the camera? Maybe I should put another camera on my thing so you can catch that side view. And so his circle of value, he created that value, and he's been able to bank it in terms of his merch. I think he also has where's my thing? I think he has products that he's created as well, right? Where's his products? Q&A, TV moments, promos, Pavo Tea. I think he has his book, and I guess he does recommendations, but I don't know what this is. Oh, this must be one of the things. He spilled the Pavo tea. But he has a huge following because his message resonates with people, and he makes them laugh, and he makes me laugh. So that's what I'm talking about. Hopefully, I think that laughter is one of the most important ways to engage as a speaker, because it makes people relax. It makes them know that you're not going to be boring. It gives them something to hang their interest on. But not everybody's funny, but you should be. Ha, ha, ha. Well, not everybody, you should be funny, or you should be as funny as you can be within the parameters of what you're comfortable with. Because being funny often means that you have to find that child side of you and be willing to look silly in front of a camera, which I have no problem doing, because that's just the way I roll. And but it's also, I do it intentionally because it makes my content more engaging, and it makes what I'm saying easier for people to remember. Makes your messages sticky. So next up on my tour of what makes Jackie laugh, we have next up. Oh, I love her. You may have even seen her. My food people. It's interesting for me to try and transition from being in the food business to being in the public speaking coaching business, because it's really hard to leave the food business behind, because I love my food people and I love my food things. And this chick makes me laugh. And I hope we don't get an ad, because I'm switching to YouTube's to share this, and hopefully it just shows up. It's a short, so it should just play.
So do whatever you want from this point on. Add them 2 little burgers that look like
Let's
hockey
go
pucks.
start back from the
So
beginning.
creative. Smash everybody so creative. Smash burgers is all over the internet, but I've never seen them cook quite like this. Add yourself some sort of candy. I don't even know what it is, but add whatever you want. Jolly Ranchers, Skittles, it don't matter. Now go ahead and flatten it down and put it in the microwave for 74 minutes. That way it can turn into little hockey pucks. As long as it looks smaller and crunchier than it did when you put it in, you did it right. Go ahead and get a plate, and you want to heat that plate up, because now you're about to fry an egg. I bet you never did that in the microwave, but they're doing it here. Go ahead and fry an egg. Make sure you leave some of the shell, because I know you might have a little texture issue. If you got an issue with the texture of the egg, Add that crunchiness. You might like it. Go ahead and microwave it for 4 minutes, because I'm assuming that's how long it takes for people that do stuff like that. Now add whatever condiments on the bread you want, because you already done messed up. So do whatever you want from this point on. Add them 2 little burgers that look like hockey pucks right on a sandwich, and then add the egg. Make sure the shell is exposed, just in case somebody don't like it, and then they might throw it out. Oh Lord. Everybody's so creative. Smash.
I love her. I love her. She's hilarious. But you have to have a strong stomach for her stuff, because her shtick, the content that she creates, she looks at really disgusting food videos. And you saw her delivery. She makes them funny. She makes jokes about it. And she always says, everyone is so creative. And that's another little lesson for people who are interested in being a content creator or a public speaker or even a lawyer. Have a catchphrase. I feel like, what was it? Did the Kardashian lawyer have a catchphrase? Not that I'm not sure if that was actually good advice for lawyers, but it's great to have a catchphrase, because it gives people something to hold on to. Whenever she says, everyone is so creative in every one of her videos, it makes the audience laugh. So if I always say, don't be boring, because that's my catchphrase. Don't be boring, don't be boring, don't be boring. But everyone is so creative is very funny. And I recommend, if you are in a situation where a catchphrase might help you get some glue with your audience, use it. And I do believe that she's turned her catchphrase into merch. So she has t-shirts that say, everyone is so creative. And other people around the world who see you wearing that t-shirt will know that you're a friend of Tanara Double Chocolate. And I'm a fan of her too, but sometimes the videos are far too disgusting for me to actually watch. But I understand the appeal. It's kind of like looking at a train wreck. She's reporting on a train wreck, food wrecks. So yeah, we love her. Oh, that's not her. No, we don't want it. No, stop. Oh, am I still sharing my screen? No, I'm not even sure what's going on. Did I stop? Did I start? Okay, I did stop. Next up. Now this boy, I think this is the guy that first made me, actually I'm going to go with another guy first. This guy cracks me up. So as I said, one of the things that I tell people when they want to be public speakers and they're trying to be funnier is watch funny people. People who are funny, like comedians, will help you become a better speaker. Comedians have to work very hard in order to engage their audience, or else they completely fail. So watching comedians as a speaker or a content creator or a lawyer or a teacher is going to help It's going to help you learn about timing. It's going to learn about storytelling. It's going to learn about phrasing. It's going to learn about gestures and body language and all the things that we need to grab our audience and hold them by the attention. Now, this guy is Mateo Lane, who I think should be Nathan Lane's son, but he's not. And I think he's hysterical. He does a lot of stand-up. He performs here in New York City, and he also cooks. So he doubly appeals to me because he's Italian and I believe Mexican. And he has a cooking channel on his YouTube as well as his comedy, which tends to be on the raunchier gay side. I found a pretty clean clip for you guys, but he is very, very funny and he can sing. So he sings, he cooks, he's funny. Oh my God, he's me. He's me. I'm not as funny as him, but one day I can only hope to be as funny as Mateo. So he does this. He was doing this thing where he would do stand up, but he was kind of like an advice. He's kind of like the speaking answer lady, but he was offering to his audience, kind of being, what was the woman who used to be on Ann Landers, or wasn't there? Who was the other one? There was Ann Landers, and then there was the woman everybody used to write into the television show, to the newspaper, Page 6. What was that woman's name? If you remember the name of the woman who was the advice lady in the newspaper in The Land Before Time, send it in the chat so I don't look like I'm losing my mind. It was like, dear who? It was Dear Abby. I remembered myself. My brain cells are not all gone, folks. Dear Abby. So he was doing kind of a Dear Abby show at his stand-up show. So this is one of the clips from that.
I had a web.
Okay, I gotta start from the beginning.
Never okay to use Chat GPT to break up
How'd you meet him?
The internet.
The World Wide Web.
Yes.
You've got mail. Like the internet. Like, what did you type into ChatGPT?
Say something empathic that a human couldn't.
Even ChatGPT's like, the f***? Layla, read us your message.
I've been doing some thinking and it's not been easy.
You haven't. ChatGPT's been doing some thinking.
The past 2 months, some of you have been special.
No, they haven't.
I realized I'm not feeling the deep connection and compatibility that I need that is crucial in a romantic relationship.
Girl, this sounds like ChatGPT. What did he say back?
Like, can we have a call to discuss? Never okay to use ChatGPT to break up.
Anyway, I highly encourage you to check out Mateo Lane's YouTube channel or Instas or whatever they are, and watch his stuff because he's very funny. And he has a cooking channel on the YouTube where he's making pasta. And he also pairs up with one of his best friends who doesn't know how to cook. And it's quite funny. And what I loved about his videos is that he always uses captioning, which is a really great move if you're a content creator, because a lot of us, I'm like that. I never put the sound on my phone. If you call me on my phone, I'm not going to hear it. If you text me, I don't get no notifications because I'm easily distracted. So what I appreciate of people who are making content is that they actually put the words on the screen. So even if I can't hear it, I can follow along at home. You know, one of the things I find super annoying is when people play their videos when they're in the room with me and I can't see what's on the screen, but I can hear this like kind of sound. So I don't want to do that to anybody else. So if I'm laying in bed next to my partner and he's on his phone and I'm on my phone, it's not a great delivery reading it caption wise, but at least I'm not making any annoying noises. So I recommend that if you are doing something where you're posting your content online or you're doing sort of demos or whatever you're doing, use captioning, which you can get in practically any app. I've been using CapCut to create videos for my reels that I will be releasing once I figure out what my wings are. Use captions because it really helps. And you wind up getting more audience because when I'm looking through Facebook Reels or Insta Reels or whatever they're called, and I don't see any captions, I just swipe and keep on going. Swipe this way and keep on going because I ain't got time for that. I'm not going to watch it if I don't know what's going on, unless there's no words. And then sometimes I will watch it. If it's just like something weird going on where someone's making something and I can't figure out what it is they're doing, I'll kind of watch it for a while and trying to figure out what are they doing. That's mostly food related. So food people can get away with no captions better than people who are actually speaking. But if you're actually using words, caption it, baby. My final person, he has got a dirty mouth, but I love him. He cracks me up. His name is Matt Matthews. He has a farm. He is a boy I think he's from Alabama, a gay guy from Alabama who grew up in the projects there. He came from poverty and he created a life for himself. He wound up becoming hugely popular on social media by accident because I guess he was funny and his dream was to have a farm. So he and his husband have a farm and he has his farm animals and he makes very funny videos of him and his farm animals. And he definitely has a catchphrase. He has 2 catchphrases. I don't know if they're both in this video, but one of them is, "Get up, it's time to do farm chores." And then he'll take you through feeding the chickens and the goats and he has little pigs and horses and a donkey, whatever you'll see in the video. And the other one, his other catchphrase is, "I hate it here," which is very funny. They're both very funny and he's very funny. So funny that he turned his TikTok persona into doing actual stand-up. And he's been touring for the last 2 or 3 years with a whole stand-up thing. Plus he's getting his own TV show. he's really done well. But the other side is that he's also a barrel racer in the rodeo, and he is a boudoir photography. So he is multi-talented. He's one of the top boudoir photographies in his region, and he has a store and a studio. And so if you look for him anywhere online, you're going to see that he's doing all sorts of different things. And the other thing that I love about him is that he is absolutely himself. And if you don't like it, lump it. And that's what you're going to see in this next video of Matt Matthews. And I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to hopefully start.
This economy,
Well, I gotta go
absolutely
back.
fucking not.
I gotta go forward this way.
She thinks she gonna get up there and have some babies. In my alfalfa, in this economy, absolutely the fuck not. Come in here, move. Hey, don't talk to me like that. I will send your ass to KFC so fast your head will spin. Don't look at me like that. Get up. Get up. I said get up. I'm not playing. I'm not playing with you. Get up. I know you hear me talking to you. Let's go. Could you chill the hell? Where are you going? What are you? You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Get down. Get off of her. You don't even have any nuts. Mary Kay Olsen Matthews, get your ass out of the damn feed bin. Get your motherfucking ass out of there. Get out of there. Leave them birds alone. Come on. Come on, get out. Come. Out. Come. Yeah, your little goofy ass thing got stuck now. Come on.
It's butter.
Get out. Oh, shit. She thinks she gonna get up there and have...
That is Matt Matthews. He makes me laugh. I tried to find a cleaner version of his video for you guys to watch, but yeah, he's very unapologetic. He actually even does like inspirational videos that I don't love as much, but for his audience, he what he does in his boudoir photography, which I really love, is he helps women who don't think they're beautiful be beautiful. And that's sort of his modus operandi. I think he talked about in one of his videos about how his mom and how she didn't think she was beautiful. And so he decided to become a boudoir photographer to make women who don't feel beautiful. So, and he also does men. So yeah, I love him. And I also love the sassiness. I like that he swears because it's, I left out one of my favorite guys. His mouth is foul. I couldn't put him on here because he's even worse than that. But he's this Australian chef who he's cute. He makes these really tight little videos. He makes what look like really good food, but he is cussing and cursing his whole way through it. And he makes me laugh. So there are many more people that I have come across my Facebook reel addiction. But content creators, these sort of content creators who are really successful, can be inspirational for people who are just starting out or fledgling speakers, because you can learn things from them. Today we learned have a catchphrase, be yourself, use humor. What else did we learn? Use captioning, use your audience. I love the way that one of the things that I didn't point out about Mateo is he's doing audience work where he's interacting with his own audience, which is a great thing for speakers to do. No one wants to come and see someone sitting there like a statue in the audience. People want a speaker who's going to interact, even when they're interacting from here. Like here today, I actually meant to put up a caption that said, "Send me your favorite reel clips," but now we're out of time because it's 6:58 and I've been talking for another hour. Who said I couldn't do it? They didn't obviously know me because I got the gift of gab. I did fill it in with these videos, which take up a little bit of a time, but you've known from other shows that I can actually talk for many hours nonstop. I don't know if anyone wants to listen to me that long, but I'm glad that you did, at least for this amount of time. So anybody who's out there, I'm going to be answering any questions. Does anybody have any questions about public speaking or content creation related to what we've seen today, or anything in the whole wide world. If I don't know the answer, I'll answer it next week. But if you have a quick question for me, I've got one more minute, folks. And then I'm going to go make dinner. So you ask, what's for dinner? Well, it's No Cook Tuesday, which means that the cleaners came today. I actually am very proud of myself for actually getting up here and doing a show on a Tuesday. Every other Tuesday, the cleaners come, and that means my day starts really early. And today I had to go to the dentist on top of it because I got a temporary crown and it needed to be shaved because it was rubbing against my tongue all weekend, which was not cool. And it was making it hard to eat and hard to talk. Could you imagine if I had an impediment to my actual speaking? So so it's No Cook Tuesday. So I've ordered a chicken already roasted, and somebody gave me shade today. Speaking of shade, I put up a post saying, where can I find the best organic roasted chicken in the neighborhood? And some person who does not know me put up something like, I hear an oven will be good for that. And mommy was not mean to him. I said, oh, really? What is this oven you speak of, sir? I've never heard of such a thing. I could have pulled out the claws, but I decided to come at him with a little bit of kindness, a little bit of sass, but a little bit of kindness too. And I said, oh, as a professional chef, I have roasted a lot of chickens in my life, and I've used this thing you call an oven. But today is No Cook Tuesday. So mommy ordered a chicken, and that's what we're having for dinner. Roasted chicken and leftovers that I made before. So it is now 7 o'clock, folks, and I'm going to sign off from another episode of Ask Jackie Gordon, the public speaking answer lady. And thank you for coming. And thank you, Nancy, if you're still out there, and Carolyn, for sending me chats. I really appreciate you guys showing up. So enjoy the rest of your evening.